বন্ধ করে দাও, pause করো। So today Nandana has shifted out of her room. क्या हो गया?
My mom is cleaning the other room, so.
Oh, good. At least you never help her in cleaning, huh, Nandana?
No, sir, I completed the major part and she's doing the.
Oh, so you have completed the major part. Good. uh, ओके, सो कितने लोग हैं? 4, 5, 9, 5, 14। बट आज हमारा श्राव्या इज मिसिंग। किधर है? No, no, you are there. Okay. You are looking like an astronaut, so I could not. But where वैष्णवी किधर है? Sahil, I have not received that request of audit from you.
Sir, I have mailed you this morning.
Okay, let me see. So only 2 people have. क्या हो गया? Who is speaking? So I have received a email from Richa Sahil, and I will take it forward to the dean, and most probably it will be granted. It was a good thing that some students are interested in doing audit. And if students are interested, I will start offering online class even after my retirement. Okay, don't worry. But today, let me go back. So you can, Vaishnavi join now. Vaishnavi is simultaneously attending renewable also. Good. It is like one husband is simultaneously handling 2 wives. Very difficult job. Very difficult job. Our boys are laughing. They think it is so much nice thing, but you will realize it. Don't worry. Okay. Resonance will occur, and then you will say, भाई बहुत हो गया. Spring हटाओ, mass हटाओ, damper ले आओ. Fine. So let's go back to the theory, and then I will show you a beautiful video which will explain the theory. But you take out your camera and let us go back to the theory that we had. Take out your camera. Let us go back to the theory that we were discussing in the last class. And let me focus on important part of the theory. Number 1, X bar is vibration amplitude, overall vibration amplitude. Fine. So my vibration will fluctuate between plus X bar and minus X bar. So this is the vibration amplitude. This vibration amplitude is product of these 2 terms. This we call equivalent static deflection. Equivalent static deflection. Why we call it equivalent static deflection? Because this is F0 by K. Why equivalent? If the same amount of force, but it is not a varying force, if it is a static force, if it is applied, then the deflection that will take place is F0 by K. However, this force is not static force, it is a dynamic force. It is a varying force. So the deflection that is happening is also varying, and its amplitude is not equal to amplitude of static deflection. It is amplitude of static deflection multiplied by a factor. This factor is called dynamic amplification factor. This is very important. Dynamic amplification factor is nothing but this expression. So what is dynamic amplification factor? 1 upon square root of 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 zeta r whole square. So dynamic amplification factor will depend on only two parameters. One is called frequency ratio. So what is R? R is excitation frequency omega divided by natural frequency omega n. So dynamic amplification factor will depend on two parameters. One is frequency ratio, the second one is damping factor. And how it depends on excitation frequency ratio and damping, we have discussed it through this graph. In this graph, please note this point P1 and P2. I haven't explained. I will come back to this discussion maybe after 1 week. P1 and P2, if the height is 1 by root 2 times peak height, then these points are called half power points. So P1, P2 are 2 points on the graph such that the height or the amplitude, vibration amplitude is 1 by root 2 times the peak value. So if the peak value is 5 into 0.707 is 3.5. So wherever 3.5 cuts the graph, these 2 points are called half power points. These points are separated by a small frequency gap. This frequency gap will be very, very small. Actually, this gap is an indirect indication of damping. Indirect. Why? If the gap is large, immediately our current will be damping is large. If the gap is small, our comment will be damping is small. So this is called half power bandwidth. Half power bandwidth is the frequency gap between the points where vibration amplitude becomes 1 by root 2 times peak amplitude. So for every graph, so this is the P1 and P2 for this particular damping. If I go to another graph, now there my P1 and P2 will be somewhere different and frequency gap will be larger. So as damping increases, frequency gap increases, half power bandwidth increases. This gap is also known as quality of resonance. Quality of resonance is a term which is used in electronics engineering, communication engineering. They are also interested in this kind of graph. But they will never like this graph. They will never like this graph. They will never like this graph. They will like a graph which is very, very narrow and very, very large. And if we are asked to select the graph, mechanical engineers, we will not like this graph. We will also not like this graph. We will perhaps like this graph. Agree? Can anybody tell me where electronics engineer use this kind of graph and why they prefer that narrow bandwidth graph? See, the moment I ask question, you people immediately go into silent mode. Can anybody tell me this gap is very important for every one of you? Every one of you, even if you are, every one of you means you need not be an engineer also. इवन ए चाय वाला, पान वाला, उसके लिए भी ये बैंडविड्थ इंपॉर्टेंट है. कैसे?
Sir, is it radio telecommunication?
It is it is in telecommunication as a whole. Radio telecommunication is one subset. Let us look at it, the mobile handset that every one of you are having. Today, the telecommunication is flooded with mobile telecommunication. And every device should have its distinct natural frequency. Because this graph will be very, very narrow and the height will be very, very large. Because in an electrical circuit, the amplification should not be small. See, today you are complaining that you are not able to listen to my voice. Because every telecommunication device has to have large amplification ratio. Number one. That means for a mechanical engineer, a large peak is disastrous. Very, very bad. But for an electronic engineer, a large peak is desirable because he wants higher and higher, larger and larger amplification. Number one. Number two. In radio, I will tell you one thing. You have never seen radio, but I have seen radio. In radio, when you rotate the knob, you jump from one radio station to another radio station. Actually, when you rotate the knob, you change the capacitor inside an electronic circuit. So when we change the air gap or capacitance in that circuit, the natural frequency of that electrical circuit changes. So as the natural frequency changes, system comes into resonance with a new radio station. Fine. So every radio station, it transmits at a particular frequency. Now, when your radio electrical circuit or electronic circuit natural frequency matches with the transmission frequency, you hear only that particular radio station. But suppose two radio stations have transmission frequencies very close, then what will happen? Simultaneously, you will hear something from this side and something from this side. Why that will happen? Because this graph is, this bandwidth is very large. So for transmission and telecommunication, this gap should be very, very small so that interference should be almost zero. So now the problem is one way to keep the bandwidth is, for electronic circuit, this bandwidth should be very, very small. But even if it is very, very small, it will be finite. It cannot be zero. And suppose this bandwidth is 1 hertz. What does it mean? It means that one device, if it is having a natural frequency here, another device cannot have its natural frequency within plus minus 1 hertz. Now, it was very easy 50 years back because total number of devices in the world was finite. But today, total number of devices in the world is infinite. We have so many mobiles and each mobile having its own natural frequency. So this is called spectrum. Often you hear spectrum auction. Now, what do you mean by spectrum auction? You will hear in newspaper that 3G spectrum, 4G spectrum. Spectrum is nothing but some unutilized frequency range. अभी धीरे धीरे ओवरऑल फ्रीक्वेंसी डोमेन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक टेलीकम्युनिकेशन इज एनलार्जिंग, क्योंकि एग्जिस्टिंग फ्रीक्वेंसी रेंज जो फुल हो चुका है. Okay, anyway, so that is electronic telecommunication. My whole idea was, in electronic telecommunication circuit, these graphs should be very, very thin. But in mechanical, this difference should be as large as possible because I need damping, larger damping. And if damping is larger, I get my peak lesser and lesser. ठीक है? So we will come back to this half power point, and from half power point, we can numerically calculate the damping factor zeta. We will discuss some other day. Today, in this graph, I simply introduce that there are 2 points called half power points. Why they are important, we'll come back to another day. Fine. So I'm basically revising our discussion in the last class. Yeah. So this quality factor is dynamic amplification factor maximum, Q. Now, if I say Q is equal to 10, a mechanical engineer will be alarmed. He will not like. But if I say Q is equal to 10 to an electronic engineer, he will become disappointed. Electronic circuit, we look for Q 10,000, 20,000, 1,000, something like that. Very high Q in a electronic circuit. But for mechanical circuit, even 10 is large. I'll give you an idea. In mechanical system, maximum कितना हो सकता है? You take steel as a material. For steel, the damping factor happens to be 1% or 2%. Means 0.01 or 0.02. So Q का वैल्यू कितना होगा? 50 or 25. So dynamic amplification maximum in mechanical system, that is structural system, if the material is steel, it can be as large as 50. If I replace steel by concrete, the damping increases to 5% or 10%. So the value of Q, it comes down, it 10 or 5. Okay, so it depends on the material. It depends on the material. So in mechanical system, high value of Q is bad. It's not good. We generally look for higher damping. Okay, so that is the difference between mechanical system and electronic system. All these things I have discussed. I will not discuss. This is important. Now, you look at these two lines and tell me, are you surprised? What is something I didn't discuss, but I have introduced here. Remember, here I said my solution is, look at, my solution is x bar into sine omega t minus phi. That is what I'm saying. That my dynamic response is x bar into sine omega t minus phi. But now you look in this x bar into sine omega t minus phi, I'm adding something different. ये कहाँ से आ रहा? Who will explain? क्यों आ रहा? Where from it is coming and how its inclusion can be justified?
Sir,
बोलो बोलो.
whenever machine is on, machine needs some time to be stabilized. So before it stabilized, this transition response also there.
Agree, but mathematically, no. We have already solved this differential equation. Agree? And we have
Yes.
said solution of the differential equation is this. तो
Yes.
फिर ए हिस्सा कहां से आ रहा? मैथमेटिकली हाउ इट इज कमिंग? How can I justify mathematically? See, in the last class we have solved this differential equation. We said that the solution is this. Then how come this fellow also appears there? UG students, you have to answer it.
It is complementary function.
Correct answer. Every differential equation has two solutions. One is in the solution corresponding to the non-zero right-hand side. It is called particular integral. But if right-hand side is 0, that solution is called complementary integral or homogeneous solution. Remember, a general solution of any differential equation is summation of both. So this was particular integral, and this is my complementary integral or homogeneous solution. That means either हम जीरो डालेंगे तो हमें जो solution मिलेगा, that is this. So this is nothing but free vibration solution. Now you are getting surprised. It is not a free vibration, but still free vibration solution is appearing here. Okay. However, this is overall solution mathematically, but practically we generally do not talk about this gentleman. The reason is, as time increases, because of this damping and this negative sign, this will die out and this will remain. So after few seconds, the complementary solution will become zero, only the particular integral will remain. This is called steady state response, and this is called transient response. So the dynamic response has two components, steady state response and transient response. Transient response will appear only in the initial time. But after few seconds, transient response will die out, only the steady state response will remain. As an engineer, we don't bother about transient response. We study the steady state response, and we will see the transient response, how it looks like, how it affects. We will see during the simulation. MATLAB simulation, you will study how transient response changes the steady state response, how the overall response looks like. You will study that. But this was important that mathematically I should not write xt is equal to x bar into sine omega t minus phi. I should write this one also. But you will see me in future, I will not write this. I will always write this. Means we are interested in steady state response, not interested in this. Okay. So that is why in the last class, I didn't mention it, but mathematically, it is also a part of a solution. Now, this is one thing very interesting, but next slide is even more interesting. But before I go to next slide, what will be dynamic amplification factor if damping is 0? Quickly, within 15 seconds, you tell me. What will be dynamic amplification factor if damping is 0?
Infinite.
Huh? What
Infinite,
will
sir.
be what will be the formula for dynamic amplification factor if damping is 0?
One by one minus r square.
So श्राव्बा क्लास में एक ही स्टूडेंट है क्या? It is an easy question.
So 1 by root 1 minus r square.
Acha, 1 by square root of 1 minus r square. Anybody else? Very interesting answers coming. I am getting interesting answers. इसका मतलब अभी तक डायनामिक एम्प्लीफिकेशन फैक्टर का फॉर्मूला किसी ने अपना नोटबुक में लिखा ही नहीं. See, this is the formula for dynamic amplification factor. This is the formula for dynamic amplification factor. I am asking a very simple question. If damping happens to be 0, what will be the formula for dynamic amplification factor?
One upon one minus r square.
किसने बोला? Nitesh.
Nitesh.
So Nitesh and Shrabha has spoken out, but you are only 13 student. सबको बोलने का मौका दे रहा. बात बंद कर दो वो. How much will be dynamic amplification factor?
Sir, it is 1 by 1 minus r square.
All of you are wrong. Think over it again.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, when zeta will be 0, sir, the system will only be a spring mass system. Simple.
Agree. Agree.
So, sir, then the dynamic amplification factor would not be there.
Huh? Who says? Dynamic amplification factor is ratio of vibration amplitude to static amplitude. Vibration will occur or it will not occur?
Sir, it will occur.
Then
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, it is infinite.
I am saying formula. You are giving me value. What I am saying, this is the formula for dynamic amplification factor. How the formula will look like if damping happens to be 0.
Sir, is it mod of 1 by 1 minus r square?
That is the correct answer. It is the mod because dynamic amplification factor is a positive quantity. When r is greater than 1, 1 by 1 minus r square becomes negative. So we have to take modulus. So dynamic amplification factor for undamped system is 1 upon modulus of 1 minus r square. And now if r tends to 1, 1 by 1 minus r square, it tends to infinity. That is called resonance. In absence of damping, dynamic amplification factor is 1 divided by modulus of 1 minus r square. So when r tends to 1 or r is equal to 1, this becomes infinity mathematically. But practically, it takes time to reach infinitely large amplitude. So how the response looks like, I'll show you now. अरे उसको ऐड नहीं किया यहाँ पे. Let me see, I might have added in another one. I think you can see this slide, this PPT. In this PPT, if you see the graph, this is how the response will reach infinity. So when damping is 0, our equation of motion gets simplified to mx double dot plus kx is equal to f0 or a sine omega nt. We don't have anything called c into x dot. When damping is 0, our equation of equilibrium, it becomes as simple as this. Its mathematical solution comes out to be this, which is not an underdamped or steady state vibration. It is not a steady state vibration because the coefficient linearly proportional to time t. So the vibration amplitude, it is a vibration, but its amplitude increases with time t. So this is the straight line a by 2 omega n into t. Vibration amplitude keeps on increasing and gradually it will become infinitely large. It will not become infinitely large immediately. It will become infinitely large after some time. So this is called pure resonance. But one thing you have to understand, in pure resonance, vibration amplitude becomes infinitely large, but not immediately. It becomes infinitely large gradually, as this graph indicates. This is a very important conclusion we can draw. Let me repeat again. If damping is absent and resonance happens, it is called pure resonance. In pure resonance, the vibration amplitude reaches infinity. However, this infinitely large amplitude takes time to build up. So the amplitude gradually gradually becomes infinitely large, not immediately. How quickly the amplitude will become infinitely large, that depends on time period. If the time period is small, amplitude will very quickly become infinitely large. If the time period is large, then the amplitude will take more time, but finally it will become infinitely large, but it will take some time. Can you tell me this small time, and it will take some time, how it is important for an engineer? Okay, we will. I will explain this maybe after 15 minutes, but let me go back to a problem solving. That is, let me ask you to solve a problem first. Then I will come to that answer. I'm changing my PPT, so it is taking 5-10 seconds. Just wait. Okay, fine. Okay, let us solve this problem. Let us solve this problem. Can you see it? I have changed the PPT now.
Yes,
In this problem, we have a steel beam. The material is steel beam in an industry. It is fixed on both the wall or two columns, two vertical, in between two vertical columns, we have a steel beam. It is fixed beam. Material is steel. Length is 5 meter. At the center of the beam, we have a motor or machine. That machine has some unbalance. How much is the unbalance? I have written it here, 1.2 kg centimeter. Now 1.2 kg centimeter may appear to be large, but I have taken mass of the machine 200 kg. So if mass of the machine is 200 kg, 1.2 kg centimeter is not a large unbalance. It can be there. So if this much of unbalance is there, then there will be an unbalanced force coming out because of this unbalance, which is me omega square, and we can calculate it. Rather, you will calculate it. Now this unbalanced force will create a vertical component who is F0 sine omega t. Due to this vertical component of the force coming because of unbalance, this whole beam vibrates. Whole beam will now start vibrating. Initially, there will be transient vibration, but later on, it will be a steady state vibration. My question is, calculate the amplitude of steady state vibration. करो. तो यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है, अपना कैलकुलेटर निकालो और करो स्टेप बाय स्टेप. I have shown some of the calculations I have shown, but you don't copy it. You do your calculation in your calculator. Values may be different. So draw the picture, note down the parameters. Width of the beam is 1 meter. Thickness of the beam is 5 centimeter. Length of the beam is 5 meter. Mass of the machine 200 kg. RPM, it is rotating at 1000 RPM. Your job is to calculate the vibration amplitude at the point where the machine is located. That is the midpoint of the beam. You do the calculation following my steps, but use your calculator and check the values. Remember 192 EI by L cube. This formula is coming from solid mechanics, and this is the formula if the end conditions are fixed. If it is simply supported, it will be 48. And if it is cantilever, it will be 3 EI by L cube. You have to do complete calculation. I am not showing you all the calculation. I am not showing you all the calculation. Damping factor, because it is steel, you take zeta is equal to 0.02. You take zeta is equal to 0.02, 2% damping, because material is steel. Damping factor, you assume 2%, that is zeta is equal to 0.02. So once you know omega n, you also know omega. So frequency ratio, you can calculate damping I have given. Damping is 2%. Frequency ratio is very close to 1. So all of you have to realize that there has been something wrong in the initial design. Nobody perhaps expected that these two frequencies will come close to each other. And this is exactly, this mistake is often done in industry. Fine. Civil engineers, they don't bother about natural frequency generally. They simply design the beam so that it can take the load of the machine. They don't anticipate that there can be unbalance in the machine. They don't anticipate that the machine will vibrate very close to the resonance. So they never bother about calculating natural frequency. So this design of the beam is done by civil engineers. And generally they don't study the subject called vibration. So some civil engineers, he has designed the beam, and now what you find that natural frequency is close to the frequency of unbalanced excitation, and therefore the vibration amplitude will be large. How much is dynamic amplification factor? By the by, anyone who has calculated dynamic amplification factor, kitna aa raha?
Sir, I'm getting natural frequency as 1200 RPM.
Yes, the same.
Yes, sir.
मेरा ये गलत है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
एक मिनट.
Sir, that is coming 129.61
29.63.
radians per
No,
second.
this is 3.36 or not?
Yes, sir.
Sir, that is correct, sir.
Yes, sir.
Only omega and value is different,
By
sir.
2. Oh, I have made a mistake. Correct. I have made a mistake. So you correct it. But yeah, you go ahead with your calculation. And that is why I said that never copy my calculation. Yes, my values are wrong. Chalo. So you got a different natural frequency.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on the basis of that natural frequency, find out dynamic amplification factor.
Sir,
हाँ बोलो.
5.18.
ठीक है. So it's not very close to the natural frequency, but it is close to the natural frequency because dynamic amplification factor is 5. And so how much will be vibration amplitude? So how much? Yeah, my answer is wrong. You are correct. But let me hear from you how much is the vibration amplitude you are getting.
Sir, 1.12 into 10's power minus 4.
So bring it into millimeter.
Zero 0.11.
किसने बोला? Voice से आया, I'm unable to understand.
Richa.
Oh, because my artificial intelligence is poor. Richa, okay. 0.11 millimeter. Srabha कितना मिला?
Sir, I'm calculating.
Oh my goodness. Hyderabad is slow today. My MTech students, senior citizens, Nitesh?
Sir, 0.11.
0.11, correct answer. So let me discuss interesting thing now. For remaining students, now 2-3 days we will spend solving the problems. You have to be little fast. इतना slow करोगे तो I cannot solve. Every day we have to solve 4-5 problems. And this subject is flooded with problems. Throughout the semester, I want you to solve 200-300 problems. So be little faster. Be little faster. Anyway, so the answer people are getting is 0.1 millimeter. Question is 0.1 millimeter. Is it bad? Is it dangerous? Or it is allowable? How would you answer this question? We have calculated 0.1 millimeter is the vibration displacement. This beam is going up and down 0.1 millimeter. Is it dangerous? Okay, can anybody tell me? How will you approach this question? How will you approach this question? I'm trying to explain why, if somebody knows this subject, his salary will be 10 times. His salary will be 10 times. Our routine civil engineers do not do this calculation. Okay, people who get the salary of 50,000 a month, they don't do this calculation. They skip this calculation. Okay, so if you can do this calculation, your salary will become 1 lakh per month. But you can get a higher salary if you can comment further. You have calculated the vibration amplitude 0.1 millimeter. But now the $1 million question is it acceptable or it is dangerous? Okay, I leave it up to you. I leave it up to you because there is a video waiting for 10 minutes. But let me explain this real life problem. This problem often comes in industry. When we run a machine, we see that the foundation is vibrating. This happens because of two mistakes. One mistake is from the mechanical engineering side, unbalance. That means the machine has not been manufactured properly, so unbalance is there. This is a mechanical fault. Another mistake is that this natural frequency of the foundation is close to the natural frequency of excitation. This is the fault of civil engineers. When the civil engineers design the beam, he only asked for weight of the machine. He should have asked for RPM of the machine also. He doesn't ask. He only asks कि मुझे बताओ इसका वजन कितना होगा. So that is the mistake. Now, whatever may be the mistake, now the problem is the beam is vibrating and this beam may fail. It may fail, and if it fails, there will be huge loss in terms of 40-50 lakhs. Okay, so how to address the problem now? So if you are the main engineer, you have to now solve the problem. You will say, can you change the natural frequency? Can you change the RPM of the machine? No. You cannot change the RPM of the machine now. Can you change the natural frequency of the foundation? You cannot do it. Because you cannot change the dimension of the beam now. You should have done it during commissioning, during construction. Now you cannot do it. Can you add the mass? You cannot do it. Only one thing you can do is reduce the unbalance by doing balancing. And people who do balancing, they are very costly, very costly. In industry, if you are a balancing expert, in one day you will earn 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees in one day if you are balancing expert. Okay, it is very costly. But the only way you can solve is now go for balancing, reduce the unbalance. So you reduce F0. Second approach is reduce the dynamic amplification factor. But to reduce the dynamic amplification factor, you have to change omega n. Now you cannot do it. It should have been done in the design stage. Okay. So if you cannot change the dimension of the beam, and if you are not a balancing expert, what to do? There is another solution. Final medicine, remdesivir. There is a ultimate medicine. We'll discuss that after 15 days. Okay, there is a medicine. But now you try to understand, I just discussed a real life problem. These kind of real life problems are not discussed in textbook. Okay, but this is how a problem comes up. And this problem is very much related to the theory that we are discussing. So I'll show you a video, but before that, with respect to this particular problem, any suggestion, any comment from anybody? No one. So what I will do is I will show you a video and then I will ask question. You are ready for another 10 minutes or you are in a hurry? I will skip it.
Actually, sir, we have another lecture, MTech students.
So
Just right now.
oh ठीक है. So you can, two students वीडियो हम दे देंगे बाद में. You can join. But 1 बजे तो lunch time है.
Actually, programming class.
Okay,
Much,
so
yeah.
you get disconnected and you join your programming class. Okay, I got it. Programming class join करो. बाकी यूजी लोगों को क्या करना है? Are you busy? अरे कोई जवाब नहीं दे रहा.
No,
So we
sir.
can continue with video.
For another 10 minutes. Okay, I will not take. But that video is very interesting. So let me see where I have stored it. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see it. If you can see it, fine. Now, before I proceed with the video, this was a bridge. Normally, this type of bridge, they are called suspension bridge. Those who are in Nagpur, they must have seen a similar bridge near our railway station. We call it Ramjula. These are cable suspension bridge. Fine. So this bridge was constructed in 1940 in America near San Francisco. So this is known as Tacoma Bridge. So the bridge was new. It was just 4 months old. It was constructed after by the engineers with, of course, all the engineering design and other things. It was constructed in 1940. However, within 4 months, one morning, something happened. And what happened? That is being shown in the video. ठीक है? So resonance is building up. Can anybody tell me what is the excitation force here? I said resonance is building up. But where from the excitation is coming?
The winds.
Wind, correct. It is wind force. In America, wind is, I mean, hurricane, typhoon, they are very, very common. So here, wind, but there is no hurricane, there is no typhoon. You can see the trees alongside. It was a mild wind, not a very strong wind. It was a mild wind, but due to that wind, resonance got set up. So how wind can also create resonance, we'll discuss after 10-15 days. But here, resonance occurred by wind excitation. Fine. But it took time to build up. আমার মোবাইলটা নিয়ে দেখো তো এমএসসিবি কাপসের মানে দেখো কিছু বলো একটু।
সেবার ইগারনেস দেখাবো ওকে আমি কালকে দেখিয়ে দেবো চাবি দেওয়া যায় যদি স্যার আমি চাবি দিয়ে দেবো। দেখো কোথায় আছে মানে বলছিল তো আমি বললাম যে যদি মেন্টালিটি থাকে যে নেবে তাহলে আমি এমনি এমনি গিয়ে দেখাবো আমার কি কি ঘরে আছে না আমার মস্তিষ্ক দেখেই চলে না আমি দেখছি আমি তো বলে দিচ্ছি ওরা আমাদের সামনাসামনি থাকতে চায় সেজন্য
এই নাও তারা তো এলো না আর। So now the failure has taken place. Okay. So you can see the failure has taken place. This is because of resonance, but it took time. It took time. So I just wanted to highlight here how resonance can be so dangerous. So this was the video, and then this was the video, but that is just to show how resonance takes place. ठीक है? तो आज इतना ही. I will pass on. अरे वो कहाँ गया? नहीं ठीक है. I'll pass on a problem sheet today. So gradually you start solving, but from next class onwards we will start solving problem. ठीक है? तो आज का क्लास इतना ही. You can delink now.